Marlborough, Massachusetts sits northeast of Worcester and is intersected by routes 495, 290, and 20 and isn't far from the Mass Turnpike. The shoe industry catapulted its population to city status in the 19th century. We started our visit with breakfast at Jake's Restaurant and Coffee Shop. Hi!
Hello!
What you making there?
I'm making a Jake's omelet and also an egg white veggie omelet.
Oh, nice. How is your omelet?
Very good. Salsa is homemade. That's inside. Really good. Eggs are good. It's not greasy at all. Very, very good. I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Yummy.
Marlborough Community Television, which is located in the old police department building, had invited us to Marlborough to do an interview with them.
Was he? Yeah.
After filling us in on the legend of the John Brown Bell, they traveled with us to several stops, the first of which was The Rock. This is so pretty here. We're at The Rock in Marlborough, Massachusetts with Spencer from Marlborough Community Television. From there, we walked across the street to the conservation land known as The Grove, which includes the Fort Meadow Reservoir, a beautiful natural spot on a warm, sunny day. We then traveled to an old graveyard, a block over from Main Street, where some old Native American graves had been relocated and where other notable citizens were buried. We find old graveyards fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. 6 foot.
Yeah. Or like a torch. Is that a... No, that looks like a T, right? Peter Bent.
This is the Howe family. They had a shoe factory in Marlborough. Oh my goodness. Next, we went to City Hall in search of the mayor. The halls are filled with images of historic Marlborough buildings.
Hi everybody, we're here today with Mayor Arthur Vigeant here in Marlborough. Good morning. Thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you ladies for coming and visiting. It's
How long
great.
Have you, oh, thank you. How long have you been the mayor?
This is the end of year 10.
Is there a lot of tourism in Marlborough, or is that something you'd like to develop more of?
We have a few attractions in the city. We have one of the largest skating facilities in the world, so we have hockey teams that come in from everywhere to go to the New England Sports Center, which generates thousands of room nights every year for our hotels. That's why we have so many hotels in Marlborough. We have 11 hotels and about 2,000 rooms. So, but it's really driven because of our business community and mostly because of the New England Sports Center. 2 years ago now, we opened up the Apex Center. It's an entertainment facility for all ages, from bowling to arcades to axe throwing to go-karts. I mean, they have everything within this facility over there. So a lot of people come from around the state to go to that facility also. So we've done a new senior center. We have a beautiful facility down there with a new park, and we're in the process of building a new library. So we've moved the library to their temporary quarters, and we're in the process of renovating that now.
Nice, very nice.
Is the population growing?
Yeah, we just got the new census, and we're up to almost 42,000 people.
What's the square mileage?
We're about 21 square miles, and like I said, about 42,000 people with the new census, and it's a great city, it really is.
What's your biggest challenge as mayor?
Well, obviously the last year and a half has been COVID, and trying to keep the businesses alive. We are a nice restaurant contingent around here that we have, you know, phenomenal places with all different restaurants, steakhouses and fish and Mexican and Chinese and American and pubs, and you know, so we tried to expand with them onto Main Street. Our managers, our employees have been great. You know, the educators we have in the city, they wanted to get back in the classroom and teach kids. We really had a lot of good employees in the city that got us through this. Go ahead.
Thank you. So tell us about the veterans and the flags that you have up on the light poles.
Yeah, we started this program a couple of years ago. Actually, one of our DPW workers brought it to the economic development people and said, would you pay for this? And so we started it a few years ago to bring in banners to recognize all our veterans.
Nice.
So we've been expanding it every year. We take applications, and the first year it was just the downtown Main Street. And we've been expanding it, and now if you drive, you know, up Mechanic and up West Main and up East Main and down Free, they've really encompassed quite a few of the streets now. And we're up to about 300 banners. As long as you're a veteran tied into the city of Marlborough, we get your banner up there.
That's wonderful.
That's great.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
doing that.
Good to see you.
We started following the museum in the streets by heading to Centennial Park, which is dedicated to the legacy of Marlborough's shoe workers. After that, it was time for lunch. Vin Bins had been recommended to us by many people. They had a creative array of sandwiches and salads to choose from. What have you got, Deb?
It's the summer salad here. Yes.
What's in there?
Fresh peaches on it, and farro, and nuts, and cheese. So it looks yummy. The peach vinaigrette is really, really good. Yum.
With full bellies, we headed over to meet Bob Kane at the Peter Bates house to get the lowdown on the city's history.
It was added on. In fact, right after World War II, there was such a housing shortage. Everybody was making a two-family out of their single family, a three-family out of their two, and so forth. Well, they added that on and made this into a four-family.
Wow.
Right after World War II.
Wow.
Come on in.
Hi, this is Bob Kane, and he is, are you the president of the Historical Society?
No, I'm the historian curator.
Historian curator for Marlborough, Massachusetts. And we're here at the Rice House.
Peter Rice Home.
Peter Rice House in Marlborough, which is the home of the Historical Society, and a beautiful home. So can you just kind of give us a recap of the history of Marlborough, when it started? And
Sure. Marlborough broke away from the town of Sudbury, which is just, you know, abuts us due east to us. And they came, and I'm trying to remember how many, there were about 15 families at first. And it was big. very big. The only thing that was in Marlborough at that time was a Prains Indian plantation was here. And they had about 8,000 acres themselves. And that was right smack dab in the center of Marlborough. And don't you know, when the people came from Sudbury, what do? They built their meeting house right on the edge of the Indian plantation. And the Indians weren't too happy about that. Mm-hmm. So that kind of sparked in a little ways the Indian Wars, the King Philip Indian Wars. We were a frontier town for a while. The shoe industry here was the birth of the shoe industry happened here in Marlborough with this gentleman, Samuel Boyd, who invented how to mass produce shoes and so forth. We have Dr. Rock, who invented the birth control pill. We also, can't remember his name, we have an individual who came up with the SAT test, things like that. Small things, nothing major, but small things like that. Apple industry became one of the major industry in Marlborough. During World War II, we had German prisoners over here. I don't know if you're aware of that, but a place called Fort Devon. So the apple orchards thought that was fantastic because all their help was fighting the war. They used to truck the prisoners from Camp Devens down to the apple orchards here. And the Germans, and everybody I've talked to that was involved in that all said they were the greatest people ever, these German prisoners. Because of the shoe industry, that Marlborough became a city, because a lot of people came here to be making the shoes and so forth. And we kept growing and growing. We were in 1890 big enough that we became a city. George Washington spent the night there on his way. Let's see, he made it up to Springfield. He was coming from Springfield to Boston, and he stopped. So him and his aide stopped at this Williams Tavern, and they spent the night there. And they were well treated, I guess. When he got elected president, the president had to go around and visit all the states. And when he came to Massachusetts, he stopped at Williams Tavern. They didn't want him to stop. They wanted to go to Boston, and he was supposed to have lunch with John Hancock. Well, him and John Hancock didn't get along too well. So he says,
things you find out.
Yeah,
I know.
He didn't care about that. So he stopped to visit the Williamses.
Wow.
And he dined there. He had dinner there. Betty Davis. Her aunt used to live in Marlborough, and she used to come visit her. Not every year, but she'd come visit her.
Yeah.
And somehow or other, we got her dress, Betty Davis's dress.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you, Bob. The next stop was the Wayside Country Store, set on a pond that was no secret to the local ducks, geese, and swans. The country store has a rich history and eclectic vibe, and we couldn't wait to explore. Debbie Eager, who's the owner of the Wayside Country Store. Thank you for having us here today.
Oh, you're welcome.
You have a wonderful store.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Tell us about the history.
Well, back in 1929, Henry Ford purchased the store. It sat in the center of Sudbury, which is the next town over, in the middle of the square. He bought it, cut it in half, moved it here by oxen, and then put it back together and opened in 1930, and then it's been here ever since. My parents bought it in 1975, so I'm the second generation owner now. So
excellent. Yeah. Give us a quick description of what you have here.
Lots of hard to find things.
Okay.
Candy, fudge, chocolates, Buyer's Choice carolers, stoneware pottery, incense. We have everything. People say, you know, if you can't find it here, you don't need it. So,
is the pottery made locally?
It's made in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Handmade?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And you seem to have a lot of different handmade products here.
We do, yeah. We have a lady that makes aprons for us, and then a few people that do paintings of the area of the grist mill, the Martha Mary Chapel, things like that and stuff. So
Excellent. And a lot of local history books, I noticed.
yes, yeah. People just love to learn about history, so, and they're coming to a historical building, so it's, you know, I think it fits.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. So when you talk about the building that got moved, was it just this store or was it the adjoining?
It was just this store in the beginning. I have a picture if you'd like to see. And then after he put it together, he built this little part here that was originally for, you know, cars and things. And then it was the very first farm stand in the country.
Wow.
Henry Ford's wife opened it as a farm stand, and that was the first farm stand in the country, we were told.
So there was a grist mill. This was all supposed to be part of a village that he wanted to create, similar to the one in Dearborn, Michigan, correct?
Yes, yeah. So he bought the Wayside Inn, which is on Wayside Inn Road, just a hop, skip, and a jump from here, and then he bought the store and moved it here. So this was going to be at one end of his village, and the inn was at the other. And then he was filling in between with everything else, a blacksmith shop and Martha Mary Chapel he built and named it after his mother and his wife's mother, and built the grist mill. But then he fell ill and never got to finish what he started. So.
Oh, I was wondering. So it was his later years, and then he wasn't able to complete.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So then he sold this part off separate. He put an ad in the paper, and you had to write an essay of why you wanted to own a country store. And I wish I could have that letter. I don't know where it is, but I would love to have that letter here. It was Milt Swanson was the one who won the essay contest, and he was the first owner after Henry Ford.
Oh my goodness.
And then there was two other owners and then us. It's just a fun place to work. People are very happy when they come here, especially in the candy department, because you can't be
it's
mad
candy.
at candy, you know. But just the people that come in and visit, and they always have stories, and you know, lots of people used to walk here or ride their bike here back in the day. You can't do that now on Route 20 very easily, but you know, back in the day they, you know, walk here and they come back and visit, and they bring their grandkids now and stuff like that. So
how much is penny candy now?
Starts at 3 cents and goes on up. Yeah, there's nothing really left for a penny, except for at the end of holidays, we do mark our candy down to a penny.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us today, and we love your store.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome.
We don't like to leave town without seeking out the best ice cream in town, so we headed over to Trombetta's farm.
What you having, Debbie?
You gonna try an ice cream too? No.
Coconut ice cream.
Good?
So good. Homemade. You can tell. Coconut flakes. Yum.
Oh, nice. I have peppermint stick, and it's really, really, really good. Creamy. So tell us your name.
Charlie Trombetta.
Charlie.
Yes.
You have excellent ice cream.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you do.
What else do you have here?
We have a full garden center with seasonal plants, vegetable plants, hanging baskets, patio pots. We're getting ready for the fall now with all the fall offerings. And then we go right into Christmas. But we also make some great fall ice cream flavors. Apple crisp was really good. The pumpkin pie, pumpkin cheesecake are really, really good. You can come back and try those.
We're coming back.
Definitely. Grape nut's a good one. Maple walnut in the fall. You know, all the fall flavors. So.
Yum. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
We were sweetened up and ready to explore more of the city, including Stevens Field with its old water tower. We were determined not to let the rain slow us down as we searched for as many stops along the museum and the streets as we could find.
Pastor Kaz Bem, and we're here at the First Church in Marlborough. Congregational Church in Marlborough. Okay, so tell us a little bit of the history of the church.
So welcome. Welcome to our 5th sanctuary. The church was originally established during the colonial times in 1660, except as the law required, it had to be able to support a pastor, a teacher of the Christian religion. Except it took them a while to work out the details of salaries with the first pastor. It was William Brimsmead. And so the first church was called Gathered in 1666.
Okay.
Yes, and William Brimsmead was one of the 2 bachelors, I think, at that time. He never married, so I always joke that I'm not the first. He also had this very funny thing. He refused to baptize babies born on Sundays. Yes. Well, there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, in those days, people believed that the baby was born on the day of the week it was conceived. So that meant that 9 months ago, the couple was not really thinking about godly stuff. And then the other idea was, and this is what he said, that if a child is born on the Sabbath, on the Lord's Day, it already shows an unchristian predisposition towards observing the Lord's Day.
Oh my goodness.
Now, interesting enough, his son, another minister in Sudbury had the same position, but he apparently changed it when one of his daughters was born on a Sunday. So that brought about a theological change. So the first church was built a little bit towards the west. It was burnt during King Philip's War. We actually built it on Native American land.
Oh, okay.
And for some odd reason that I cannot fathom, this is sarcasm, they were not happy with this. So they burnt the first church, another church was built, and then another one. This one was chosen, the site was chosen in 1806.
Okay.
And in 1806, the people became so upset that it was moved a little bit towards the east, that there was a division. And in 1808, there was a division in like a lot of churches in New England. And we became Trinitarian, and the Unitarians built their own, it was called Second Parish. We were the first parish of Marlborough. And the Unitarians built their church in the west. And the city said, we're not gonna sponsor 2 pastors, because a lot of people don't know, but until 1831, unless the city divorced itself from the church, the Congregational Church was the state church in Massachusetts. If you were not Episcopalian, Quaker, or Baptist, you paid towards my salary. So this church was built here in 1858 after the previous one, I think, burned down or was in such a terrible state that it had to be built. And I'm the 29th pastor since.
Really?
Yes, yes. We gave birth to a lot of other churches. One of the first missionaries to Hawaii came from our church. Okay. And this is a great story. So there was a man, and he was studying from some men at Andover Newton, Asa Thurston, and he was studying, and he needed to find a wife. Because in those days, you would not send a young Christian, impressionable gentleman into the land of the heathen, when the women were, as it was presumed, just waiting to devour these young Christian men. So he needed to find a wife, and I think he had 6 weeks. And so he came here because his friend said, I think there you'll find some chicks, some ladies who would be interested in you in Marlborough. And so they made a list, there were 4. And the pastor, Asa Thurston, went and proposed to the 3 that he thought would be most,
Oh my goodness.
And he got rejected. Like, that's the best part. Like, the women were, I don't think so. No. So then his colleague went and proposes on behalf of Asa Thurston to his cousin, Lucy Goodale. And she says, let me think about it. And she finally says yes. So they were married. They kind of finagled the band's rule, and they sailed to Hawaii. They were the first missionaries in Hawaii.
Wow.
We had missionaries in Sri Lanka today, in China, in Angola, yeah.
Wow.
In Armenia as well, yeah.
Interesting.
But I just love this idea that, you make a list of women you're going to propose to, And you think like, okay, well, surely if I go over, they're going to be smitten by me.
Right.
And apparently, you know, the oldest joke in the book, what's a man's best contraception? Personality.
I love that. I love that. That's great. That's great. So how many parishioners now do you have here?
So we have, on the books, we have roughly 250 people.
Okay.
Roughly 250 people. You know, with COVID, it'll be very interesting how many return in September. We've been open for roughly a year with certain rules and restrictions. So it's been a slow trickle down. But yeah, 250, they're a wonderful bunch. Yeah. They won't see this part, right? So I have to tell them, like, it's a wonderful bunch. No, they've been just great.
Yes, they will.
Oops. And I've been working with them 10 years, so.
Wow, you've been here that long?
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
I know, I'm beginning to see the kids I baptize almost be ready for confirmation.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, so it's a fun church. And, you know, as you can see, this is a 19th century building.
It's beautiful.
So there's a pulpit. This was elevated, so the pulpit would, probably before 1950s, you would not see the cross because that's a part of what's called a movement of liturgical renewal that kind of came in the 1950s. We have the organs, and we have organ concerts. Yes, we started them 2 years ago, and we continued during the pandemic. We did them live on Facebook, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And you can see it was still quite old-fashioned because apart from the angel, there were really no human representation. So it's really in the old Puritan Reformed tradition that you don't show people, and they're symbols. So you have a dove, a cross and crown, you know, the sheaves, you have the anchor.
An anchor.
Yes, you have the Holy Bible. And then you have this, which we really can't figure out. It is, whether it's Jesus or an angel and the Good Shepherd. So.
And you love it here?
I love it here, yes.
That's
yes.
Great.
I have found a group of people who are very good Christians and very tolerant, so they put up with me.
That's great.
Yes.
I don't think that's too hard to put up with you.
Well.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking, very much so.
Very much, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
After our delightful visit with Pastor Kaz, we finished the day with a meal at Welly's Restaurant.
Salad.
If you're ever in the Marlborough area, we highly recommend that you take some time to explore the museum and the streets, along with many other interesting and historic sites. I know the next time we pass this way, we'll be challenging Mayor Vigeant to a game of pickleball.
That's easy. I love this.
Easy.
I
yes.
love this.
Thank you for taking the time
No, ladies,
to talk
thank
to
you
us.
very
You want a
much
hard
for stopping
question?
by. Huh?
You want a hard question?
Go for it.
We don't do hard questions. We just do easy stuff. Yeah, we're easy.